Welcome. I am Dr. Kevin Hadley, and this is the Board Game Professor. This is a introductory video on what this whole video series is about. So for a long time, I have been interested in board games, and also for a long time I've been interested in education. And recently, I have dedicated my research interests as a professor in engineering education. So I'm a chemical engineering professor. If you really want to know what institution I'm at, you can Google the name Kevin Hadley, but for the sake of proprietary things and that sort, I won't mention what institution I'm not part of, but I will say that all my opinions are my own. They're not my institutions, they're not my funding agencies, they're just me. So the whole point of this video series is to show people how games can be used to teach. This is a series of reviews, but unlike really good reviews like the Dice Tower is a really good one, Drive-Thru Reviews is a good one, those are good reviews. And I'm going to try and review games as well as they go. But what they lack is how good is this game at teaching something, and what can it teach? So that's really the perspective, the niche I'm going to be filling with these kind of videos. And so, but that requires kind of three sets of videos. One set of videos is requiring us to, how do you play the game? Okay, so I want to, for those of you who don't know how to play the game, or the rules are confusing or whatever, I want to have videos on like, this is exactly how to play the game. Okay, we've already done that for the game Pandemic. We had a series of 5 very short videos of how to play Pandemic. Now, and that's really the other emphasis, is all the videos need to be short. Okay, we've learned in online education content needs to be short and sweet and to the point, because otherwise you lose your audience and the learning is lost. And that's what this is all about, is teaching you, the audience, different things. How to play the game. We'll also do a video on how the game plays more in a generic kind of 10,000 feet up in the air type of perspective. Just okay, you go here, you do this thing, you're trying to do this thing, blah blah blah. The idea is, so when we explain the educational content, you're not completely lost as to what we're talking about. Now, I could have that in the same video as the educational content, but that's going to again increase the time given towards those videos, and we want to keep those short and to the point. So that'll be a general overview. So really, the meat of the videos are going to be these educational reviews. Okay, so we're going to walk through different aspects of the game and what they can teach. Okay, now you might be like, I'm not a teacher, I'm not an educator, I'm a business person. What do I know? The point is, even as a business person, you might have employees that you're trying to teach things to. You might be a parent who has a kid that you want to teach them. And so I'm an expert on engineering education. I'm not an expert on, employee training or childhood psychology or childhood development. I'm not an expert on those things. Those things would be more my opinion and general observations based on my own kids. But I still am going to give the perspective of, okay, how does this game teach something that you would want to teach your kid? Okay. And emphasizing the how, like, okay, this is what it can teach, and here are suggested methods or tools or strategies of how to really get the lesson to sink in with your audience, your child, your classroom, whatever, what have you. So each game I'm going to review based on a lot of educational criteria, but I'm also going to review the game as just normal criteria, because a game might be really awesome but not teach a bunch. But I still, like, you might just want a third perspective. Oh, okay, yeah, I heard what Dice Tower has to say. I heard what Drive-Thru Reviews has to say. What does this have to say? And same thing with, like, the rules, there's lots of videos out there that explain rules of games. There's lots of videos that go over games. The one I like the best is Rahdo Runs Through. So yes, I'm plugging a lot of other videos here, but I'm not getting paid to do it. In fact, I'm not even going to advertise. I'm not going to have advertisements on these videos because these aren't to make money. These are to inform you as the audience. So where does this really stem from is kind of what I wanted to get into. So in 2013, we used the game Pandemic to teach engineers how to work in teams. And that evolved into a government grant from the National Science Foundation to really explore how it can do that and how it can do it in a multitude of different avenues, whether it's different campuses, different disciplines, and things of that sort. And now it's gotten to a point where, okay, Pandemic has taught us a lot. It's had a huge impact. What else can games teach us? What other games should we be using? And so we've submitted another grant to answer those broad questions of, okay, we have all these different game mechanics and aspects like mechanic like worker placement, but aspects like different decisions and strategy. Okay, how do these things align with the things that we want to teach our students or children? Like critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, communication. These are all, of course, teamwork. Now, we've already kind of established teamwork in a couple contexts, but is there more that we could teach? And so that's what this grant is really about, is trying to explore these other things. Now, it's not funded yet. It's still in the review table, but one of the things that came from that, an idea of my own, was, well, funded or not, why should I keep my opinions regarding what this can teach other people to myself? Okay, and so that's what the point of this video is, to share with you what can this video series teach you. Okay, what can it be used to teach your children? It can be used to teach your classroom, whether you're a middle school science teacher or a college professor of social sciences. Is there things that these games can teach in some way or another? And so I will basically grade each game based on its educational value and just its general value as a game. So if that sounds interesting, this is serving as kind of the introductory video. I don't want to make this introduction every time I make a video, so I'm going to refer to this introductory video for you at home. But if this does sound interesting, please tune in, keep watching us, subscribe, all that good YouTube-y type of nonsense. And also leave comments. If you have questions, I love answering questions. That's what a teacher does. As a chemical engineering professor, I get questions all the time. I love answering those questions. And especially if it's well, I want to do this thing in my classroom, but I'm not sure how it would work in my classroom. It seems to work well in your classroom, but how do I do it in my classroom? I love to explore the logistics of how to best implement these kinds of things in your classroom. So with that, again, I'm Dr. Kevin Hadley. I am the board game professor. Stay tuned.